That I would have shit myself.
What a fucking advantage, dude. Which person? I would have shit myself if I was in either of their positions. Hey everybody, and welcome to the YouTube channel. My name is Cam, this is Zay, and we are back watching Game of Thrones. Here we are watching Season 5, Episode 4, Sons of the Harpy. I'm super excited to get into this one, but before we do, if you guys like what you're watching, leave a like down below, subscribe to stay tuned for more. If you're not already, you can hit that bell notification button to be notified the next time we upload a new video. And if you want to watch our full-length reaction to this and the next 5 freaking episodes, you can check that out on Patreon. The link for that will be in the description. So, Zay, what do you remember previously?
Yeah, so, well, then I guess I'll start with my favorite characters. Tyrion's in a little bit of a situation right now. He actually got captured by Sir Jorah, or yeah, Sir. He's a Sir, right? Or is Jorah even a Sir? Yeah. I know with the titles and shit, I want to make sure I'm not calling them something or not. Jorah ended up capturing him outside of a brothel, kind of like on that ledge. We saw Tyrion isn't the Tyrion we used to know. He wasn't even able to hook up with that woman. You know, he's talking, spitting his game. She tried to bring him back, and he basically bowed out, said, you know, I'm not going to do it. Tommen and Marjorie are officially married. And speaking of marriages, Ramsay, well, I should say, Sansa is being forced to marry Ramsay. You know, Baelish basically told her, like, you know, that you gotta, like, you don't have a choice. Like, this is for the best.
Baelish did say, if you don't want to, we don't have to.
But he was manipulatively saying, like, you have free choice, you know, like, so she was clearly distraught about that whole situation going down. We got to see Cersei speak with the High Sparrow. It seems like their interests are aligning in that regard. And then Arya seems like might be being accepted by Jack and Hagar and the Black and White Temple. Right? There's a House of Black and White. She ended up getting rid of all of her clothing after Jaqen basically said, you know, you need to become nobody, but you're still wearing Arya Stark's clothes. You still have her weapon, Needle.
We've heard about the many-faced god.
Right. So she ended up burying Needle, not throwing it in the water like her clothes, which I think is kind of important because that means she clearly was able to separate with the clothing, but I guess Needle probably holds more, obviously holds more value to her than that. So she wasn't willing to completely really depart with it. To me, that's what it seems like. And as she's cleaning that body, the door stayed open. That usually was getting shut right behind them as they'd walk out, and she exited through the door with them. And I guess we're going to see if she's really getting accepted and what that training might entail and what goes on with her. I'm interested in her storyline right now, probably arguably the most, because I want to see more about them and the many-faced god.
All right, that's a nice little recap. Let's get into it. Jeez, that scared the shit out of me.
He fucking got rocked.
Oh, whoa. All right.
Jeez. He's pissed off, apparently.
Is there a fucking bounty that's dead or alive? Like, what?
Yeah, no.
If you ever see the wee fucker, give him my regards.
The wee fucker. Like, damn, he has a name.
He murdered my father. If I ever see him, I'll split him in two.
Wow.
Damn.
And then I'll give him your regards.
Because he released Tyrion before that happened, and then he found out that then Tyrion took advantage of that, killed his father.
What would you say if I told you of a great sinner in our very midst?
Help me! Help me!
So Cersei arms these guys and notifies them about a sinner. Interesting.
And now...
Get your hands off
Sir
me!
Loras of House Tyrell, you have broken the laws of gods and men. Who do you think you are? Justice.
Oh, boy.
Why is my brother in a cell?
I don't know.
Poor fucking Tommen. He's just eating.
Arresting my brother is her revenge.
Aren't you and Mother getting along?
Poor kid.
Somebody needs to sit Bambi down and explain the fucking rules.
Everything.
Sir Loris be freed now.
Did I arrest him?
Well, no.
Fucking slap the Uno reverse card on his face.
You're the king. I'm sure if you speak to the High Sparrow, he'll release the poor boy.
I mean, kind of making him step up and be a man in a way.
Yeah.
And a sadistic-ish way. Not the best, you know. I would have. This is not how I would teach my son to step up, but teach their own.
Oh man, they're not letting the king pass.
Give the order, and we'll clear out this rabble.
You mean kill them?
Complete opposite of Joffrey. Oh, Joffrey would have been like, "Get the fuck out of my way! I will kill him immediately." He would have been beheaded in like 2 minutes.
We'll find another way.
That's genius. Tell them you're going to try to sneak another way in. What the fuck is
Not him. I know. I'm sorry, but we need men and supplies. And Roose Bolton's the Warden of the North.
Murdered
Oh,
my
I
brother.
knew it.
We swore to be the Watchers on the Wall, and we can't get more men without help from the Warden of the North.
That's fucked.
That's tough. Would you do it? I mean, you kind of have to, right? Like, you're really in a pickle. It's like
I think I would have thought about it a little bit longer, but
Cam's like he just sat back and just said, "Fuck it."
Power to make life?
I don't think Stannis would like that very much.
Then we shouldn't tell him.
just fucking woo!
I loved another.
The dead don't need lovers.
Oh my god. She's a fucking monster.
You know nothing, Jon Snow.
Yeah.
He's like nah, son. He just under the table. Whoop. He said,
no.
he said, "I've only heard that one other time."
Yeah, no, if anything, that went.
Everyone advised me to send you to the ruins of Valyria to live out your short life with the stone men before the sickness spread through the castle. I told them all to go to hell. I called in every maester on this side of the world, every healer, every apothecary. They stopped the disease and saved your life. Because you did not belong across the world with the bloody stone men. You are the Princess Shireen of House Baratheon. And you are my daughter.
That was a nice little scene.
Yeah. Dude, could you imagine waking up to that shit?
Yeah.
Imagine if it was like a fucking tarantula or something.
I would have been like, I was just gonna say I'd hate to sleep outside like that, and that's why.
How many you count?
4.
How many do you think you can take?
1, if he's slow.
That would instill zero confidence in me.
We finally got to see him pull it out of his bag. That was so cool.
Yeah. Horse. I always hate that part, man. You know they're gonna go for the horse, though.
Yeah, but like if it gives you the advantage, and
I know. But like, damn, that's a dope blade.
Jaime's first real fight.
Yeah.
Good man.
Do you think he fights dirty, like how Bronn had been trading him?
I know what happens. We'll have to see.
Come on, Jaime. That I would have shit myself.
What
Bro,
a fucking advantage, dude. Which Which person? I would have shit myself if I was in either of their positions.
We don't need an army to start a war. Queen Cersei loves her children, and we have one of them.
Ooh, boy.
When I was a child, Oberyn came to take me to court. I'd never seen this man, and yet he called himself my father.
Ma'am, this is a Wendy's.
I know. I low-key hate when characters do this shit sometimes. She's gonna kill that dude. You fucking know it. That poor fucking soul.
I made my choice long ago.
All right.
So is that a yes, or are we... So you're saying war, then?
You said you were taking me to the Queen.
I am. Queen Daenerys Targaryen.
Yep.
Yes,
I just couldn't confirm it and tell.
I know. I mean, I mentioned it last episode. I'm like, I think he means... Because I'm like, the Queen he identifies as Dany. But I was like, I mean, maybe Cersei.
Now that it's clear we are on the same side?
Tyrion's like, I was heading there anyways.
Yeah. Fuck it. It's cool.
Dragon epaulets, bare sigil breastplate. Your Jorah Mormont.
Damn.
It's all coming back to me. I was drunk through most of the small council meetings, but it's all coming back.
Uh-oh.
Past notes to Varys' little birds. She found out, didn't she? Found out and exiled you.
Sometimes he's too smart for his own good.
You think Daenerys will execute me and pardon you? I'd say the reverse is just as likely.
Well, I guess he doesn't need wine to sleep now.
I just got that.
Knocked him the fuck out.
Yeah.
Rhaegar would pick a spot on the hook or the Street of Seeds, and then he'd sing.
He was good.
He was very good. Viserys never told you.
He told me Rhaegar was good at killing people.
Rhaegar never liked killing. He loved singing.
And what did you do with the money?
Well, one time he gave it to the next minstrel down the street. One time he gave it to an orphanage in Flea Bottom. One time we got horribly drunk.
Those who find victory in the fighting pits will never become kings, but their names will live on. Traditions are the only thing that will hold this city, your city, together.
He's like, come on, please.
I can't promise this is the answer to all our problems, but it's a start.
What do you do? What do you do?
I mean, he's got a point. Traditions do keep people, you know, kind of together. And
that is not good.
Yeah, that was... They got really cool masks. But damn, that's not good. Get them. Unsullied. Oh, this is not looking good, though.
Ooh.
Come on.
Damn.
It looks, I'm assuming that's gray armor. It seems like it's like, yeah. Jesus. He's a savage. That's so unfortunate. And they seem to have a lot of men.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like a lot. Barristan, you better. No, not like this. Oh.
Oh.
Oh my god. Oh, Barristan, help. Barristan, arrive.
This is definitely going to be an issue.
Yeah. Oh shit. Let's see it. Don't be anticlimactic. Don't like have Barristan get like taken out by one guy like off rip. I would be so disappointed. Love the music.
Damn.
Like heroic ass music.
Oh my
that he
gosh. Literally, he's killed like 5 men on his own so far.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah, but like 2 of our best fighters are. Well, one appears to be completely out. Oh, nope, make that 2. Fuck. That's not good.
Oh, man.
This makes it interesting. That Jorah is on his way.
All right. That was Game of Thrones Season 5, Episode 4, Sons of the Harpy. Before we get into this, if you guys like what you're watching, leave a like down below, subscribe to stay tuned for more. And if you want to watch our full-length reaction to this and the next 5 freaking episodes, you can check that out on Patreon. With that being said, Zay, what are your initial thoughts?
That was a cool episode. Very got interesting developments and interesting things got confirmed. Obviously, the big one that I'd been wondering from last episode was, is Jorah taking Tyrion to Cersei, or is he taking him to Daenerys? I thought it was Daenerys. I know you couldn't confirm it at the time, but I mean, we'll get more into that in the post. But yeah, some interesting developments just went down. This is kind of wait, where are we? We're halfway, or no? Where are we? Was this 4?
Yeah, this
episode
is 4.
Okay, cool. All right, yeah, things are ramping up, obviously, as they naturally do, and as we start to approach midway into the season. So I'm excited to see how this all develops.
Yeah. All right. So let's get into the Q&A. So first, let's start with Jaime and Bronn. They are on their way. Well, they've made it to Dorne, and Jaime survived his first, deadly sword fight, you could say. Luckily,
since he's had his arm, hand chopped,
and we got to see the Martells basically saying, "Oh well, they're here now. Jaime's here. And we got to get to Marcella before they do." So now we have kind of this race against time, and Jaime and Bronn don't even know about the danger that Marcella could be in right now. What are your thoughts on that whole situation? How do you think it's going to turn out for Marcella? And
it doesn't look good for Marcella, in my opinion. The only saving type of grace they have, I guess, or she has, is that Oberyn's brother. That's Oberyn's brother that's ruling currently, right?
Yes.
He basically doesn't want anything to happen to her, because he just, he understands everything that happened. Yeah. He doesn't want anything to happen to her, I mean, and you have Jaime and Bronn actually there that have a chance to intercept it. I think kind of the issue, though, is that we don't know the capabilities of the Martell women there. Like, we don't know. I mean, the one girl obviously is clearly good with the spear. She threw it. I mean, yeah, the guy wasn't moving his bear up to his neck, but she was wearing like armor. She seems like she's very experienced, or is like, a fighter, like out of that group. It's like, without being able to gauge their ability.
One of them moved the pot off with a whip, and the other one threw a spear into the dude's head from a distance. So
it's like, and that's only 2 of them. I mean, we haven't seen, Oberyn's, what was that? Was his wife and the other. I mean, you not knowing their full capabilities kind of makes it hard to gauge, like, how like they are deadly. Clearly, and they're willing to kill, and especially kill a Lannister girl, considering what happened to Oberyn. So yeah, I'm nervous. I'm nervous because they have the advantage of, it's their hometown. They probably are. It's going to be easier for them to get information on Marcella and her location, whereas Bronn and Jaime, they can't just walk in and be like, "Hey, where's Marcella Lannister?" Because people will be like, "That's kind of a weird like,
who the fuck are you?
Who are you?" You know what I'm saying? The Martells ask, it's a little different. It's like, "Oh, why? Do you have business with her? You need something from her?" You know what I'm saying? So yeah, we're gonna see. She's in a dangerous spot, though.
Yeah, well, we'll have to see how that turns out. Speaking of being in a dangerous spot, the king is in this interesting position now where he couldn't free Sir Loras without resorting to violence. And the problem here is that for Tommen is that now Cersei has armed the faith with arms. I mean, she armed the faith. So what's your whole perspective on her arming the faith? And now Sir Loras is locked up, and the king is in a precarious situation, if I use that word correctly. What are your whole thoughts on the whole ordeal surrounding the fact that the faith is now armed, and how that might affect other characters like Marjorie, Tommen, and Cersei and Loras?
Cersei kind of knew what she was doing. I mean, I think she knew, like, obviously having the dirt, and I mean, knowing Loras is gay and, and all that. And now you're arming the faith and kind of giving them a method of being able to enact control. Like, it's not just like, it's a lot different when they're unarmed. What are they going to do? They could tell you you're a sinner. They could do this and wag their finger and tell you you're a sinner. You should do that. But now they have a way of being like, you're a sinner and we need to enact a punishment by our gods, and having the ability to take you hot, to kill you, to do it. They want to, you know what I'm saying? It's basically it's like a super religious military now. It's dangerous obviously it's dangerous for Loras. Now he's trapped in this cell. We don't even know, for all we know, they could have dragged him there. I mean, we know he's in a cell, but we don't know, are they going to kill him? Are they going to torture him? What lies in store for him? I have no idea. We haven't even got to see the inside of that area where they're keeping him in the cell and everything. The poor king is getting pushed, I mean, I guess it's kind of a step in, it sucks because he's getting pushed into a direction where, like, he's going to learn how to make decisions. Like, he's getting forced to learn how to be able to make tough decisions, but in probably the worst way possible. He just had his wife's brother captured, and now he's in the middle of this war between his mother and his wife. And the poor kid just wants to please everybody. He doesn't want anyone pissed. Like, he's a kid. And having lost Tywin, he doesn't have that, counseling, that mentorship that he was having initially. This probably wouldn't have even happened if Tywin was still around. Most likely, I don't think Cersei would have made such a bold move. Or Tywin probably would have had at least something to say about it and been like, that's not happening. You're not giving them, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's definitely fair to say.
On top of that, she sends away the Master of Coin, and like, she's made the small council, as Meister was saying, this is a small council. She's like, it's not small enough. She's making the council super small, and by, leaving only someone that aligns with her ideas in the mix and kind of manipulating them, the council is whatever she says goes right now. And the king's not,
like you said, Tywin's not around, Tyrion's
to
not
step
around,
up. Yeah,
Jaime's not around.
Even Jaime's not around to say, like, we're not arming them, we're not doing this. What are you talking about? Like,
so who do you think right now, out of everybody, out of the faith, out of Tommen, out of Cersei, out of Marjorie, out of everybody, who holds the most power in King's Landing? Like, some would argue Tywin did around the time. He was alive.
I would have argued Tywin did too.
Who do you think right now, the faith, Marjorie, Cersei, King Tommen, who holds the most power? Not like who would have, like, obviously Tommen is the king.
I get what you're saying right now. I would say arguably right. I would say right now Cersei holds the most power because of now having the faith on her side, basically having her own military of and not, like, what I'm saying? So basically by having them, she does, in my eyes, hold the most power. However, if Tommen starts to enact, his right as a king and kind of like taking more control and start to issuing commands and saying, this is what's happening, that's not happening, Marjorie, by, relation, will kind of start to get the most power because she's the queen, and she already has kind of, she'll be able to talk to, because she's already trying to manipulate him a little bit. And obviously, like, she even said, like, my brother shouldn't be in a cell, whatever. And Tommen was like quick to go and be like, I'll go talk to whoever I got to talk to. Now, it didn't work, but he also isn't very forward. He didn't walk up. That's like walking up to your boss and being like, I would like a raise, but like questioning yourself. I'll say it's like,
Right.
yo, you're not giving like they just basically were like, you're not walking in here, and he just was like, all right, he scattered. So Cersei certainly has the most power, but if Tommen starts to enact his power as a king and starts to step up, it doesn't have to be as severe as Joffrey, but starts to put his foot down, kind of how Tywin would. Marjorie would kind of it would fall under Tommen again, obviously having the most power because he's king, but by relation, she would kind of start to gain more power than Cersei now.
Well, we'll have to see how that all plays out. Next on the list, we have the whole kind of situation at the Wall. We had the Red Woman, I guess, really trying to entice Jon. Jon was like, nah, I have somebody, and she turned around and said, "You know nothing, Jon Snow." Very, very creepy. I wonder how much she knows in that situation.
Yeah.
And also, we had that sweet moment with Stannis and his daughter about how he ended up, inadvertently giving his daughter grayscale, which was terrible. But
doing everything to cure it as well, or stop it.
Yeah. So, what are your thoughts on kind of the whole situation at the Wall? Does that make you like Stannis more? How does that make you feel about Jon? That he wasn't gonna listen to the Red Woman. We've seen Stannis, Gendry. We've seen a lot of people give in, I guess you could say, to the Red Woman.
Yeah.
So, what are your thoughts on?
I think that's
the whole situation at the Wall between all those characters.
I think Jon completely denying her is kind of going to make her maybe push harder to kind of get him. I mean, so far, like you said, Stannis and Gendry, she went for it and she got it. And so, naturally, just someone that gets denied like that might be like, well, first, like what? Like I got our king. Like you're telling me, like, what I'm saying? Like, you're telling me that I'm good enough for a king, but not you. Just, whatever. Lord Commander of the Wall. It showed that he definitely has a lot more, it seems like, willpower, I guess, against something like that. Now, I get you could argue that is it because of the relationship he had with Ygritte? I know, like you just said, he had someone at one point, and then everything that obviously occurred at the Wall with her dying, and he had to turn her back. He had to turn his back on her basically, and just that whole falling out. Maybe he's just not willing to get into a relationship because of the damage it can cause, or maybe he's like really committing to his oaths now that he's Lord Commander and being like, that was his one fluke and won't do it again.
Let me ask you this. We have seen the Red Woman very all of her actions seem to have motive behind it. So
yeah, they're calculated. They're very calculated.
What's her angle? What do you think she's trying to do?
That's what I'm kind of curious about, because I wasn't like, I'm not quite sure on what her angle could be on getting him. There was like I said, I mean, I made the joke. I was like, you're just trying to bang now because he doesn't even have Baratheon blood. Because like when she went for Gendry, the reason was he has Baratheon blood. Thus, she's able to use it with the flame, with Lord of Light and everything, and what she does typically. The angle, and then with Stannis, she was able to give birth to the Coochie monster, kill Renly. The angle with Jon Snow, I'm still trying to like map out. I'm like, yeah, where is your advantage gonna lie? Because it's just like, I just don't see. I mean, maybe I missed something in the episode or some of the previous episodes. I'm assuming that it's gonna come to me as maybe we see it more developed, because Stannis technically hasn't left yet, so we might see them engage one more time, or you might get to see her doing something, talking to somebody. I don't know. I'm hoping we get to see a little bit more of her, and I get to kind of paint the picture. It paints the picture a little bit more for me on what her angle will be. But to be honest, I don't really know right now.
We'll have to find out. How do you feel about Stannis and that situation? What do you think is basically? I know in around season 2, I think you said you wanted Stannis to win, I think, but doesn't mean you really liked him that much. We've seen him burn people. He's been questionable at moments, at least, but we got to see this sweet moment with his daughter. So we know that he cares about his daughter, much like Catelyn and Cersei care about their children. So, you know, does that shed him in a more positive light for you? What's your thought about that?
It puts it, you know, he cares about his daughter, which I guess, yeah, naturally is going to put him in more of a positive light for me, because it's like, okay, like you're not just, you know, you're not a piece of shit. Like, you know what I immediately thought of was, I'm like, so you have Stannis, who has his daughter that has grayscale, an affliction, you know, an affliction that one could have killed her. And then you had Tywin, who had Tyrion, who had an affliction. Really, I mean,
yeah,
he killed his mother, yes, but the dynamic in the relationship is completely different. Stannis did everything in his power to make sure his daughter survived. Tyrion wanted to kill Tyrion, or Tywin wanted to kill Tyrion, even said like to him, but said that he just didn't do it because he's a Lannister. Like, that's it.
Right.
Like, that was the only thing holding you. So it kind of showed you like two fathers that, you know, dealt with that type of situation in completely different lights. So I immediately drew a comparison to him, which I think biased me into seeing Stannis in a better light. He does make questionable decisions. I'm not a huge fan of, like, it's working for him so far, but I'm just not a huge fan of how he's just following like what the red woman says, he kind of just does. Mm-hmm. Now, again, it's been working for him, but I'm more nervous for him because what happens when, like, if you succeed and you become king, like, I don't think that her end game is just to see you become king. I think her end game is to get you in a position of power. So she's in a position of power, which, you know, everyone's out for themselves in this show. Typically, no one's ever just, I want to see you win. It's like without any sort of, you know, reward or,
That's
you know.
Fair. So yeah, we'll have to see what comes of all that. Speaking of being shed in a new light, or seen in a new light, you know, we've heard a lot of terrible things about Rhaegar Targaryen, Dany's brother. We've heard that he kidnapped and raped Lyanna. We heard that, you know, he killed a lot of people. We've heard some bad things about him.
Mm-hmm.
But then it cuts to Sir Barristan Selmy talking to Dany and saying, you know, he used to sing to people. He hated killing. So he talked very fondly of him. Yeah. Now, we've seen Sir Barristan tell Dany her father was actually mad and crazy. So we've seen him not afraid to tell Dany the truth. What do you think is happening here with this, with these opposing stories about Rhaegar? What are your thoughts? And also, do you think Sir Barristan was just trying to make her feel better after what he said about her father? Or do you think there's some truth to what he's saying? What are your thoughts on that whole situation?
I mean, maybe, I don't know. I guess you could, maybe it's advantageous to kind of like speak of her father in a nicer light because
her brother,
the fact that, or brother, sorry. Wait, brother?
Rhaegar is her brother.
Oh, I'm freaking, oh, duh, because her father's the man. Yeah. I think by doing that, it kind of might instill more hope in her that like she's not gonna go mad. Because like if someone tells you your father, you know, he was the last Targaryen to rule, he went insane. Like they had to kill him and take him out of power. That would have me nervous. Like, you know, people say like, isn't there like a thing with like the Targaryens, like they say
flip of a coin.
Yeah. So I think by doing that, maybe even to him, it's like if we talk in a more positive light, perhaps it could favor this lighter side of the coin. You know, the less she's focused on all the negativity and stuff, try to keep her in a positive light. Maybe it can somehow, I don't know, boost the chance.
So you don't believe he's as good as he's painting him out to be.
He could very well be. You know, and the other thing is that it just in general, you know, the winner writes history, right? So it's really whoever wins tells the stories about that person. Could those stories be a little bit over elaborated, and could they be a little more dramatic? And he's trying to bring a little bit of be like, well, look, he wasn't just, you know, a shitty person. Like there are, I don't know. I think in general,
somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, and I think he's trying to do his best at which at being, kind of like a counselor for her. Your job is to try to assist and make shit a little bit easier. It's like she's already got hell going on inside of this city. She's got Sons of Harpy running around killing all of her men. Like, you need to give her some morale boost.
That's a
She doesn't
great
even have her
segment to move right into. We had the Sons of the Harpy that just like brutally murdered a bunch of Unsullied, and we saw Grey Worm and Barristan go down.
They look like they might be out for the count.
I was going to ask you, do you think that they're out for the count?
I don't think Grey Worm is out for the count. I think if they both survive, I think Barristan's in far worse shape naturally because he's older. But number two, it looked like his wounds were like a little bit more severe because it looked like he got stabbed. Well, because it looked like he got stabbed like kind of like right in the center cavity, and then they were about to slit his throat. Grey Worm kind of got like stabbed like in the side. Not saying that that's any less brutal or painful, but Grey Worm was fighting. You could say that he collapsed, adrenaline finally ran out, and his body just like was like.
Barristan was fighting like a badass.
Yeah. And again, with his age and everything, it's like, I'm not surprised they both, if they do succumb to their wounds, I wouldn't be surprised. But I think that they'll make it. I just think they're going to be out of commission. And I thought it was interesting because now that you have Jorah coming with Tyrion, some would argue that it might serve to bring Jorah back because you need somebody to help defend her because you just lost two of the best fighters there aren't going to be able to fight.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because we did kind of go right over that. And so now that you know that Jorah and Tyrion are heading to Dany, what do you think her reaction is going to be? Especially now that we have possibly two of her men that are dead. So important men. Here come two more men. Do you think she's going to, what do you think her reaction is going to be to all of this? I mean, she was livid when she sent, she barely could look at him.
And
do you think she's going to take him in again? Like, what do you think is going to happen?
And what's her lover's name? The dude right now that she's with?
Gosh, I know it. Dario Naharis or something like that.
So here's what I think.
Here's
there's like two things that could happen, and I guess so there's a chance that Barristan and Grey Worm are not down for the count but out of commission, right? These two now, Jorah and Tyrion are here. She, I think, is not going to be happy off the rip. Seeing him, I don't think she's going to be happy at all. However, regardless, if Grey Worm and Barristan, in the event that they die, you would have the chance to now replace these two people that were kind of like helping counsel and defend. You kind of just got two replacements. And you almost have an advantage because Tyrion's a Lannister, meaning he has far more information about King's Landing, about the military, about them in general. Like, it would serve her well to at least keep Tyrion.
But you could imagine,
I could definitely see her killing both or killing one of them.
like you said, she should keep him. He's a Lannister. You could also make the argument she should kill him. He's a Lannister.
And that's where I think Dario might step in and be like, look, or even maybe if Barristan and Grey Worm are fine, they might be like, look, like, we know you want vengeance and you want to take them out. However, we're not in a position to spare resources like this that come. The problem is that how can she trust Jorah knowing that Jorah had been spying on her the whole time? If anything, I feel like she'd be more likely to take Tyrion and not trust Jorah, because at least
that's what Tyrion said. Tyrion said, "You think she's going to execute me and pardon you?" The reverse.
She might do the reverse. Is even more likely.
Right.
So, but I think that she'll end up kind of absorbing them as a resource because they are too credible. Not too credible.
He said just as likely, but
just as likely. But they are two resources that and like I said, you just lost two good fighters. So at least if you have Jorah, now you have another fighter that can fight with Dario. You can have Dario kind of help watch the Unsullied and like kind of keep tabs with the
Well,
second
remember,
sons and everything.
she sent Dario to, I think it was either Astapor or Yunkai. I think it was Yunkai because they were getting out of hand in Yunkai. So Dario is
Yeah, but
not
Dario was just there. Unless she just sent him this episode. He was just in this episode.
Was he?
Yeah.
What part of this?
He walked in. He walked in when he told her that those guys were waiting outside to talk about the fighting things. The dude that she's been banging.
Oh, yeah. I'm a fucking idiot. So
yeah, because he was there because then she was like, Barristan, sing a song for me. And then he left and then he was standing next to her.
Okay, so I think it might have been a hypothetical she was presenting to him.
Okay.
Something like, would you be okay with going to Yunkai or wherever she said? And he said, I'd rather be with you or something like that.
But, okay, yeah.
I correct me if I'm wrong down in the comments. I just got really confused at the whole situation. But because, like I said, I can't remember everything. But I think it was a hypothetical because he is still with her here in Marine. We know this much. So, yeah. So keep going.
Yeah. So, no, basically just to kind of wrap up the idea, it's like, you have Dario who it's again, I'll reiterate one more time, Barristan and Grey Worm could very well be out of commission. You have two people that can serve as very important resources for you. And you're not in a situation to spare anything with the sons of the sons of the Harpy running around. If anything, you need to take what you can get to get rid of them, because until they're gone, you're losing men right now.
It's the issue.
And they're the best soldiers. They're unsullied. They're not just slave soldiers or something, untrained. Like, they are unsullied. They are the best fighters. And it makes me wonder, because we don't really have any information on the Sons of the Harpy, right? Like, nothing. We don't really know too much about them.
We know that the guy who was caught was not a former slave. And we do know that they're very angry.
So I'm just, because they clearly, like we were saying during the episode, they know the streets, they know the city, and they're clearly skilled fighters. So I am very curious to see, or get more information on who are these people, who's leading them, how are they
are they really skilled fighters, or are they just good at bombarding
I would
people?
say, I guess, yeah, that's a fair argument. You could
be right too. I'm not going to tell you for sure.
They're not. Well, from what we've seen, they aren't. I mean, I guess they're not the best fight. They really do just kind of bombard, grab, slit their throat. Everything's tactical though. They're very sneaky. They are picking key moments. They find areas where there's unsullied, or people just not even thinking about, obviously war. Like, they're just hanging out. Those guys were talking to those women. And then we see the woman that was crying and saying, and Sons of the Harpy points them in the right direction, wipes those fake tears. And what happens? They actually get jumped from both sides. So it was more of a trap, really. She got those and Grey Worm unfortunately got caught. Barristan got there, kind of helped save the day. I mean, they might have just lost their lives, but I guess we're going to find out in later episodes what's really going on.
Yeah, we'll have to see. With that being said, again, if you guys like what you're watching, leave a like down below. Subscribe to stay tuned for more. If not already, you can hit that bell notification button to be notified the next time we upload a video. If you want to watch full length reaction to this, the next 5 episodes, you can check that out on Patreon. With that being said, Zay, I know you have a Twitch.
Yes, I do, guys. Come stop by the Twitch. My link will be down in the description below. I stream Sunday through Friday. Tuesdays and Fridays are with Cam and some of our friends, possibly on Fridays. Come say hi, come hang out. I also have my YouTube channel will be active by then. Because all my outro and everything's coming.
I love how you say by then. You've said it a couple of times. It's technically by now for anybody who's watching.
Yeah. Oh yeah. By now. Well, yeah. By the time they see this, well, it's June 21st. So whenever this comes out, it's active. So if you haven't gotten a chance, go check it out. Feel free to subscribe if you're feeling interested. But yeah, come stop by the stream, and then Cam, I know you also have one as well.
Yep, just your average Cam. Link is in the description. But with that being said, thank you guys for being here. We'll see you on the next one. And peace.